Good morning, all. Welcome to your
Good morning.
Our guest artist this morning is Meg Rain.
Good morning, everybody. Let's start and open up to the Spirit. I hope you get on your feet and go. Open up to the Spirit. Open up to the One. Open up to the Spirit. Let Thy will be done. All of the promises I pray are pouring in on me every day. And I open up to the Spirit. Open up. Well, I got a body and I got a soul, and I got more love than I know how to hold, and I got a window of time on this earth to celebrate my birth and connect to that spark power that made me, a power that makes me whole. Open up to the One. Open up to the Spirit. Let Thy will be done. All of the promises I pray are pouring in on me every day when I open up to the Spirit. Open up from way deep inside me. There's this light I know. She comes piercing that darkness where I sometimes go. When I am blind, I've lost my way. I cannot see God's face, oh, but I feel that light come shining. It's a light that won't let go. Open up to the One. Open up to the Spirit. Let Thy will be done. All of the promises I pray are pouring in on me every day as I open up to the Spirit. Open up. Let's go up. Open up to the Spirit. Open up to the One. Open up to the Spirit. Let Thy will be done. All of the promises I pray are pouring in on me every day. Open up to the Spirit. Open up to the Spirit. Open up to the Spirit. Open up. Yeah, open up. Ooh, well, this is a day of celebrating mothers, all kinds of mothers, and we're going to celebrate Mother Earth right at this point. And I want you to make some calls. We're going to the warm climates, do some calypso. 1, 2, da, 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 Oh, who do I love? I love my mama. Who does she love? She loves me. Who do I love? Oh, I love my mama. She gives me everything I need. She gives me everything I need. And I say, Gaia, she is the ocean. Gaia, she is the sea. Gaia, she makes the rains fall. She means the world to me. Yes, she she love? Oh, she loves me. Who do I love? Oh, I love my mama. She gives me everything I need. Yes, she does. She gives me everything I need. And I say, Gaia, she is the ocean. Gaia, she is the stream. Gaia, and she makes the winds blow. She means the world to me. Yes, she does. She means the world to me. And I say, Gaia, oh, she is the animal. Gaia, and she is the tree. Gaia, she is my mama. She means the world to me. Yes, she does. She means the world to me. Oh, yeah. She means the world to me. Cha-cha-cha.
If you folks are comfortable standing and joining the hand of the person next to you, this tune is Surely the Presence.
Good morning, Unity. I stand in the presence on this day. The opening prayer today comes from a reading by S. Ajna, and I would like to take a moment for all of us to acknowledge the divine feminine that resides in each of you. And I'd like to dedicate this reading to my children, Jessica, Ashley, Rosalind, and Cheryl, with much love. Echo. I am a woman who recognizes her own depth. The divinity of my architecture is not just limited to flesh and bone. The femininity of my curve, the sacred geometry of my vibration, the light of my auric flame. I'm a woman sculpted by the hands of the infinite intelligence. The entirety of the universe is fashioned inside of me. I am the echo of God.
Please be seated. Good morning, Unity on the River. And happy Mother's Day. My name is Jackie Woodside. I will be facilitating services with you this morning. We'll be celebrating services with this lovely mother right here, Cyndi Swall. I'll introduce Cyndi a little more formally in a few minutes, a little later on in our service, but she's well known to this community. Cyndi has been a mentor, facilitator of our transformation process back 7 years ago, was that? 7 years ago? Long time ago, well, I don't know. And just fell in love with this church, has continued to call it her home ministry, even though she lives in Missouri, yeah, Kansas, there you go. All right, so welcome everybody. So what we're going to do in services today. So Cyndi has a talk for us coming up in a little bit that I'm really looking forward to. That is called Do
Doing ordinary things with extraordinary love, and the subtitle was my personal favorite, Save the Drama for Your Mama. There we go. Let's welcome those who are live streaming with us this morning. Let's say hello. We are a live streaming ministry. That means we stream our services around the world every morning at 10 a.m. So if you're traveling or if you have family members that you'd love to share this ministry with, please let them know. They can just go to our website and live stream on any Sunday. Let's, any new friends with us today? Anyone celebrating with us for the first time? Hello, good morning. Anyone else, just raise your hand. Right here. Good morning. So one of our ushers is going to bring you a flower and a welcome packet. There was a lady right there and a gentleman right here. Yeah, there we go. So welcome to Unity on the River. For those of us who are with us for the first time, please know that we do welcome all paths to God and that we are just thrilled that you're here. Your presence enriches our services today, so thank you for being with us. If you take that flower questionnaire to the bookstore, I think it gives you a 10% discount in the bookstore today. And there's a welcome table also outside in the fellowship area. So please hang around, have some fellowship with us, and welcome to Unity on the River. Let's ground ourselves now by saying our mission and vision statement together. The mission of Unity on the River: we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision: centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. We have a few things to let you know about today. This is the most important one. Cyndi and her beautiful daughter, Mariah. Where'd she go? Mariah is in the back. So Cyndi and Mariah are going to be doing a wonderful Mother's Day parent-child bliss camp today. So start your Mother's Day festivities with a delightful interactive play shop designed to build a fun heart connection between you and your kids. So Mariah and Cyndi will be guiding us through what promises to be your favorite Mother's Day ritual. How many of us could enjoy a new ritual? We just ask that your children be old enough to read and write. Both parents are welcome. And if you don't have any kids, just bring somebody who's willing to act like one for the workshop. It's a good suggestion. So join them today at noon for that. Next slide. Oh, yes, next Sunday at noon, the live streaming that we're able to do, and really just touch hundreds of more lives from streaming our services around the world. Peter is going to be taking names who are willing to be on that team, get trained in how to do that. By the way, it's great training to put on your resume. I know how to do live streaming. So if you're interested in that, thank you so much for helping us get that going there, Jay. It's great. And what else? Oh, community meeting, June 4th. Save the date. Just put that in your calendar after services to get some updates and talk a little bit more about our ministry. Oh, yeah, and then Saturday, June 17th. Isn't this the coolest thing? We have the coolest church. The 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz and his son, Don Miguel Ruiz, okay, sorry. I can't even read that. I don't know. Anyways, so you see that up there. Anyway, so VIP event from 2 to 3, $150. General admission. You see all that. What's that? Oh, wait.
Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. y Don José Ruiz.
Thank you. In other words, what he said. No, I just want to add a minute about that. I was fortunate enough about a year and a half ago to be on a television show in LA called the Wake Up Hour TV show. It was a transformational talk show, and guess who was on the show the same day that I was on? There you go. So I actually had the opportunity to meet him, and it really was a life-changing experience. I mean, the guy's like, we're backstage and everybody's getting ready and going on TV, and there's directors telling us what to do, and people going, and a friend of mine came up and introduced me to him, and it was just like we were in this capsule. He's like, Jackie, it's so lovely to meet you, and just so deeply present in that, like I was the only person in the world in that moment. And I was really, really touched by his love. I mean, he was like love personified. So if you have any qualms about coming that day, just sign yourself on up, come and meet the family. It was a really lovely experience. All right. Yeah, good, great. So no more announcements. So I love this part of our church. This is really our opportunity where we connect with one another, heart to heart, face to face, and soul to soul. In our congregation, we greet one another by saying namaste, which means the divine in me sees and recognizes the divine in you. Greet one another with a handshake or a hug, and I greet you this morning, namaste. So Cyndi is going to come and share her talk after we have a heart opener, and I just wanted to take a minute to say a few things about her. Because she's lovely, and I want you to know more about her. So Cyndi is a coach, a speaker, and a bliss mentor. That's why I like to call her my friend. Yet before all that, she is a woman, a mom, a lover, a friend, body, mind, and soul. All of the things that come with that. That's important because she coaches people from that place. Real world, kind of messy, super caffeinated problem solving in the wild.
Super caffeinated.
Cyndi is accredited in over 25 different coaching models and understands that no amount of action will take the place or make up for inaccurate or destructive thinking. 25 years experience as a professional coach, a wonderful spiritual teacher and speaker, and we're really honored to have you here. But before that, let's have a little bit more music, center ourselves in with the beautiful Meg Rain. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and grandmothers. And I do want to preface this song. It's a bit of a psychological drama. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I know that we are dark and light, and very few of us had the perfect mothers for our challenges as we've gone through life, and I certainly did. So I offer this with great love and reverence to a mother that taught me about the dark and the light and the beauty and the glory of being a mother, as a human mother, very human. So take a breath with me. My mother was a wise woman, a good woman, a warm, loving woman. She taught me how to cook and to sew. She taught me how to look and to know. My mother was a wise woman, a good woman, a warm, loving woman. And I am my mother's daughter. I am my mother's child. My mother was a cruel woman, a cold woman, a hard-hearted woman. She taught me how to cower and to hide. She taught me how to fear and deny. My mother was a cruel woman, a cold woman, and a hard-hearted woman. And I am my mother's daughter. I am my mother's child. not flesh and bone, with a heart of love, a heart of stone. What is a woman, day and night, dark and light, wrong and right? My mother was a kind woman, a cruel woman, a hard-loving woman. She taught me how to trust and betray. She taught me how to take and give away. My mother was my mother. Thank you.
You know, I can't stand behind this because I trip over stuff all the time. I wish you could be up here to smell the waft of these lilacs coming across the stage. Have you guys noticed that over there? It reminds me of my childhood, obviously, since it's Mother's Day. We had one lilac bush, and we had another big, bright yellow bush in our yard, and my father told me it was a forsythia bush. So I was yeah. Isn't that sweet? A forsythia bush. But I thought I was 11 years old before I realized other people had them. I thought I was the only one that had one. It was kind of like the Santa Claus thing. It's a little disillusioning, but it reminds me of my childhood. It's just wonderful. So happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. I think it was 1905 when Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation making today a national holiday for mothers. And so now we celebrate it, right? We celebrate it with flowers and brunches and presents and just general flow of love and appreciation for our mothers. But it's kind of interesting because Mother's Day actually had a relatively dark beginning. Mother's Day was originally designed for mourning women who were mourning for fallen soldiers. And isn't that interesting? And the woman who was probably the greatest advocate for Mother's Day, Anna Jarvis, once it started to become more commercialized, she spent her entire life fighting the concept of a national holiday as Mother's Day. She ended up dying penniless and in a sanitarium. Yeah. And on that cheerful note, I just want to talk to you more about the actual concept of Mother's Day because it's really important to us. But the reason that we talk about this is because it's important to remember that the mere mention of mother, this is why your song was so powerful to what I'm going to talk about. The mere mention of mom or mother for most people conjures up an enormous myriad of emotions, doesn't it? Because the term mother is not just about our physical madre. It has to do with our feeling cared for in the world, if you will. And so it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So for the purposes of today, I want you to define mother any way you want to, whatever that looks like for you. So it could be physical. You could think of mother as the one who gave you life. Or maybe mother is just those who give you a reason for living. So maybe that's what Mother's Day is about. So we have a lot of, think about it, let's think it from a biblical perspective, right? So from a biblical perspective, there were a lot of moms, for example, in the Bible. And some of them are people that we want to emulate as a mother. Others remind us, quite frankly, of the concept of if you can't be a good example, then at least you can be a horrible warning, right? Okay, random dancing. Okay. Where's Amy? Oh, there you are. I thought you would dance with me, Amy. Just leave me here all by myself. It's like, come on. Okay. So anyway, but we talk about all kinds of moms, right? And both the ones we want to emulate and also the ones that we don't necessarily want to emulate. Both are valuable, right? So the whole concept, right? Abraham Hicks talks about this a lot. The whole concept of contrast is understanding that the things that we want to do and the things that we don't want to do in our lives. And so there's value in both of the experiences that we've had, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I want you to think about it. So if we go back, let's think, for example, I guess if we're to go in chronological order, we'd have to go back to maybe the mom of all of us, which would be Eve. So we go back and we think about Eve, right? She's our mom, right? She's our grandma, a few times removed. But she also the mom of Cain and Abel and I think Seth, and I'm not sure how many other children that she had, but she goes back to the beginning of time. So think about it. So you have to have some sympathy for this girl because she didn't have a mom to go to and say, so how did they do it in your day, right? What was that like? So you have to have some sympathy. But she was like, remember, she was the woman who made the monumental, affects everybody for the rest of time mistake, right? So she makes all of us look really, really good. So she probably deserves the bad rap she gets, but you got to kind of give her some sympathy because she didn't have anything to go on. I mean, when they were teething and when they were growing up, I mean, she didn't have anybody to ask. So she just kind of had to figure it out, didn't she, as she kind of went through the process. So we'll kind of give her a little bit of a scope around that. But we start talking about, I'm afraid I'm going to knock your glasses off. Can I put them back here? Thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Even though you called me a mother. She's like, she just called you a mother. I said, yes, she did. Okay, so when the kids were small, she's kind of trying to figure all that stuff out, right? And so, but the good side of that is that there was nobody there to tell her that she was doing it all wrong, was there? She was just kind of working her way through it. Maybe she decided to partake of the fruit because she was the only one who could remember where it was in the garden, right? Women just know where stuff is, right? So maybe that's it. So maybe she had to make that mistake because that was her job to do. She also had the mother of what I would consider to be all heartache, right? Because her sons were involved in the world's first homicide. And that was before we had like Nintendo and violence on TV to blame it on. So we'll cut her some slack, all right? So she was the first mom. So we have to think back to, that was our first example of what a mom actually looked like. So today we honor all moms, right? We honor moms, the historic moms that we're familiar with. We honor our own moms. We honor the dads who have to be moms. We honor the stepmoms and the adopted moms and the grandmas and aunts and neighbors that step up to take that role. That's who we honor today. So mother is not just about who gave birth to you. It's about the people that have acted in a caring position for you in your life over the course of your lifetime. That's really what being a mom is all about. So we honor all of those moms. So we have to take that into consideration today. In fact, I've learned that probably sometimes the most important contribution, bless you, the most important contribution that you make to the planet isn't necessarily what you do, it's who you raise. I can attest to that. My daughter is here with me, which, by the way, I want to introduce her. Her name is Mariah. Mariah, can you stand up for just a second? Thank you. She loves it when I do that. But that's my job. My daughter just got back from India. She spent a semester in India helping, in an NGO, helping women move out of the red light district. So I'm very proud of the work that she's doing there. So, yeah. So I'm doing something right. Yeah. Or at least I allowed her to live, so I guess that's the important thing. So let's think of, and let's go back into the biblical, right? So let's think of Bathsheba. Anybody remember Bathsheba? Who was her son? Anybody remember? You're like, really? Okay, so this is a unity church. This is the mother of Solomon, right? So I want you to think about that. So remember, King David kind of took a liking to Bathsheba, even though she was married, and as well as him. So their illicit affair became very, very famous over time. And so it was interesting because King David thought he'd kind of solved this problem, right? So he did a little bit of damage control. So he sent Bathsheba's husband into war. And so his wish was granted because Bathsheba's husband was killed during the battle. So comes back then to continue to have the relationship with Bathsheba and thinking everything is that he's gotten away with it and everything's just fine. But then all of a sudden, a son was born to this union, and that was Solomon. And so what it does is it gives hope to those of us moms. Is like it doesn't really matter the circumstances of your pregnancy or the birth or the lifestyle that you have around that, is to understand it's conceivable that you are sitting across the table with one of the wisest, most legendary leaders in the world in that high chair. right? So we have to take into consideration whoever it is that we're raising, we only get to be the conduit through which they come through us. You get to be the mechanism that brings them into the world and gives them shelter, but ultimately they will be whoever they are destined to be. They've chosen you for whatever reason to be a part of your experience, and then they will become whoever they become based on what their initial experiences are, all right? So you may be surprised, by the way, when we start thinking about, like in Bathsheba's story, it has nothing to do with whether or not you've actually birthed a child. It really has more to do with the fact that the unconditional love of a mother is really what we seek out day to day, isn't it? The ultimate goal is for us just to have more love in our lives. Isn't that what we're really looking for? Whether a mother's love or wherever it comes from, we just equate unconditional love with that of a mother because a mother's love is fierce and a mother's love is unconditional. So believe it or not, though, it's actually relatively simple to create more moments of bliss and happiness and love into your life. And so there's a handful of things that I want to share with you that will make it a little bit easier for you to do that more often. The first one, and I've heard this 3 times today. I heard it when we did a pray-in. I've heard it several times today. The first one, quite frankly, is just to be present. You got to be there. And when I don't mean physically be there, right? When we start talking about having human moments, you have to physically be present in order for you to do that. And so, in fact, Matthew Killingsworth, you may have seen a TED Talk on Matthew Killingsworth, and one of the things that he talks about, he's a researcher. One of the things that he researched is really taking a look at the concept of cognitive mind wandering, right? And mind wandering in and of itself is not a bad thing, is it? I mean, that's where creativity and innovation and all of those things come from. But here's what he did in this study. It was kind of interesting. Over 300,000 people were interviewed. And several times throughout the day, he would send a link to their phone and ask them 3 questions. The first question he would ask is, how are you feeling right now? The second question, what are you doing? And the third question is, what are you thinking about? Here's what the outcome of that study was. What he found is that 55% of the time, you are thinking about something other than what you're doing. Do you believe that? 55% of the time. Think about that when you're sitting in a meeting or, God forbid, driving your car. I mean, it's true. How many times have you gotten somewhere and you don't even remember getting there? It's like the car just drove you there. It's the same kind of concept. So they really, 55% of the time. So that in and of itself was alarming, but here's the real rub. The real rub is, think about it, when your mind is wandering, are you thinking about things like rainbows and unicorns and stuff? What are you thinking about? What I have to do. Your to-do list. Maybe you're thinking how you're hungry or you need longer golf spikes. But more than anything, we're stressing, aren't we? We're worrying about something. We're thinking about that conversation we wish we could have a do-over. Those are all the things that are sorting through our head. And so when you think about it from that perspective, what they realized in the study was that not only are you thinking about something other than what you're doing, 80% of the time you're thinking about something that's worse than what you're doing. So if 80% of the time we are focused on the things we don't love, and we can't figure out why we keep getting it. So what do we know about the law of attraction? What do we know about the concept of what you think about expands? We constantly are thinking about what we don't want, and we keep getting it over and over again. So this is really important to not only to be physically present, but to make sure that when you were there, the story you were telling about Don Miguel Ruiz. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay, thank you. The story that you were telling about him is about just in that second, right, that he stopped whatever ticker tape was running through his head long enough to be present with Jackie. How many times have you first met somebody? Like you say hello, they say hello, you shake hands, 30 seconds later, you can't tell them what their name is. You do that. And the reason for that is because we're already processing either what we're going to say next or how brilliant we're going to be or wonder if there's lunch, whatever's going on for us. We're processing information, but we're not stopping long enough to recognize who it is that we're with. And in order for us to have more moments of what we consider to be extraordinary love, you got to be in the room. You have to be with the people that you're with. So before you can create it, you've got to be aware. You got to ask yourself questions like, who am I with? How does this feel? What is my mind consumed with? Ask, what brings me joy? This is an interesting thing. As a coach, I will tell you, one of the first things I ask people to do, particularly women, because we're so bad at this, is I have them create a list of 100 things that bring them joy. 100, and they can't stop till they get to 100. How many of you could do 100? right? It's like, maybe. I mean, the first ones are easy, right? So you get through the obvious ones, like, I love my kids, and I love my spouse, and my dog brings me joy, and I love my new phone or whatever. So all the stuff that you love, you can think of those. So you get to about 25 or 30, and then you start going, yeah, I don't know. And so then you have to use all of your senses. You have to use all of your senses. You have to smell, touch, taste. You have to be going, oh, I love that yellow house on the corner when I come down here. It's a beautiful house. I love a soy 2-pump vanilla decaf latte with extra foam. And my daughter makes fun of me, but if I'm going to pay $6 for a cup of coffee, it's going to be the way I like it. And could you rub my shoulders while I'm drinking it? That would be great. But most people can't even identify what brings them joy. The biggest challenge we run into as mothers is most of us mothers can tell you how their kids like their sandwich cut up and how their husband takes their coffee, or how their best friend, what movie is their best friend's favorite movie, but they can't stop and ask themselves the questions, what brings me joy? So that's part of being present, is unconditional happiness, unconditional love is not just about being there for others, it's about being there for yourself through the process as well. So the second thing that I want you to be thinking about, another way to make you feel love more often, is what we call staying connected, right? So being present is one thing. The next thing is being connected. When I say we're talking about connected to anything, in fact, clinical depression has increased tenfold since 1994. 10 times more clinical depression. So what do we attribute that to? Technology. It's kind of interesting because the technology that we've created to bring us together, to connect us, has actually become a mechanism, quite frankly, for keeping us from avoiding having real conversations with one another. And so we have to stop and to figure out, how are we utilizing our technology? Are we using it to bring ourselves together, or are we using it to be divisive? And we don't even notice it, right? It's because we're not being present, we're not staying connected. And so it's really important that in order for you to have extraordinary love in your life, you have got to have human moments. And a human moment doesn't mean you're in the same room at the same time, does it? It doesn't matter how close you are. You could be sitting inches from someone on an airplane and not have a human moment. Can't you? Put your earbuds on. You're not even there. You're not there. So it really has more to do with the fact that we are really looking at ways that we can start to connect. In order to feel connected, we have to be able to not just remove ourselves from our technology, but to stop long enough to listen with the intent to hear. Listen with the intent to hear is so critical for us, and most of us aren't doing that. We're listening with the intent to speak. And that's why you can't remember somebody's name immediately after you're introduced to them, because you're trying to figure out how to do that. We are so busy taking action. Guilty. So busy taking action that we're not connecting ourselves with the ability to take inspired action. So one of the biggest disconnects that we've had, and let me just tell you, let me finish the story about the depression, right, is that there's a lot of things that come into play there, but the number one reason cited across thousands of people in 80 different countries, very diverse age brackets, consistently, over and over and over again. You know what the number one reason is for depression? Lack of connectedness to something bigger than yourself. Thinking that you are it, right? Thinking that you are it. And so it's important to recognize that it's connection everywhere, right? It could be connection with your community, connection with your family, connection with your significant other, connection from God. Whatever it is, people are feeling disconnected. Our houses are getting bigger, our families are getting smaller. So we have to figure out how we can connect, not just with other people, but also stopping long enough to connect with your non-physical support system. We forget about them, don't we? Our non-physical support system. You're not here by yourself. You didn't come here with an instruction manual and say, go get them. Right? You came here with all the resources you need to tap into all the time. And so if we're not taking the time to do the meditation or the prayer or whatever means you have for connecting with Source, you're just doing stuff. I like to say just because your outlook is full doesn't mean you're doing anything. So you've got to take into consideration, connection basically means if you stop, you do the connection, you feel inspired, then you can take action from a place of inspiration. Then you can take action that's going to give you some kind of a return on that investment. But we're spinning cycles, aren't we? How many of you feel like you need more stuff to do? Just a thought. The number one thing that I coach people on, that I coach myself on, is having a life. Having a life. I just had this conversation with Kate last night. I do all these things to try to remove activity from my life, and it's like nature abhors a vacuum, doesn't it? It's like all this stuff starts to come in. Oh, look, you've allowed some time. Here's some stuff to do. And if you're not consciously aware of what you're bringing into your experience, if you're not taking the time to connect at a spiritual level, at least for myself, I find when I'm not connecting, I'm just doing stuff. But when you are connecting, you're taking the time to really tap into the resources that are available to you, then you get up in the morning and you set an intention for your day. You don't react to it. How many of you are using your alarm clock on your phone? Okay, come on, you know you are. So what happens? Your alarm goes off, you got your phone in your hand? You're already moving in to action, aren't you? Before you've set the intention. So one of the most important things you can do to create extraordinary love in your life, be present, stay connected. And I don't mean connected to social media. Stay connected to your internal guidance system. Because once you start listening to your guidance system, all of the stuff, you'll start to take a look at this peripheral stuff, and all of a sudden it doesn't seem so important for you to do anymore. So that's the second most important thing that you can do for yourself. And finally, the third is to be appreciative. I'm not talking about gratitude here, right? That's a big duh, right? It's not about being thankful for what you have. That's a given, because you definitely can't have extraordinary love in your life if you're not in gratitude. But here's the difference. Here's what appreciation means. To be in appreciation basically means to find the goodness in all of it. In all of it. In the stuff that doesn't necessarily feel like love to you. That doesn't feel like it's fair. Is the world fair? It doesn't have anything to do with what's happening around you peripherally. It has to do with your response to what's happening. To be in appreciation, to recognize that everything happens for a purpose. And you may not understand what it is right now. When we were going through the transformation, we called it living in the goo. Meaning when the caterpillar goes into the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis and becomes a butterfly, right? It basically breaks down into this gelatinous goo. And it's very difficult for us sometimes to see the beauty that's about to emerge from that, isn't it? So we get frustrated of living in the goo. And that's the problem, because it keeps us out of appreciation. I want you to consider the story of the most famous biblical mom. Who's the most famous? Mary, right? Let's think about Mary. She's the most famous of all biblical moms. Now, we would think of her as what we consider to be favored, right? We call her the favored girl. But think about it in her period of time. To have an unwed pregnancy at that period of time was not a popular move. I don't know if you noticed that. I mean, you could literally be stoned to death for it. So I think she was really grateful when she found out that the angel had actually talked to Joseph also and said, here's the deal. So he's like, okay, I'm good. But so a little more information needed to be had. But think about what the experience that she must have had to be able to give birth to this person who was going to have such a dramatic impact on the planet. But it was not a good time for her. And as all mothers know, all gifts come with a price. Right? So she had to change baby Jesus' diapers, and she had to make sure that he had food on the table and wipe his skinned knees and all the stuff that mothers do. So that was a big part of what she did. But it's interesting, the places we see Mary pop up in the gospel. All right? The first one I think of is when she showed up at the temple. Remember at the temple, she's putting out the APB for her son, if anybody sees him? Now, personally, I'm thinking, as a mom, I would have grounded him. If he said to me, hey, I was just out doing my father's business, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But, so that was one place. The second place that she showed up, remember the wedding feast? During the wedding feast, she was trying to get him to do that thing he does with the water. She's like, come on, you do it. But he refused to do it. And so she's like, what the heck? So she literally went to his servants and went behind his back and said, we need for you to do something here, right? So help us out with this. Well, eventually Jesus, of course, gave in, and he did the thing he does with the water. And, I just would have liked to have been at the table that night and see the glance between mother and son that took place at that. Really? I don't ask much of you. All right. So, but there's not a whole lot recorded about her response to that, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. But finally, we see Mary at the crucifixion. So, at the crucifixion, the disciples were nowhere to be seen. All of his followers were hiding behind the bushes. But Mary was right there, wasn't she? The mother stays when everybody else is gone. The mother stays when everybody else is gone. In fact, Mary is a rich tapestry of motherhood, right? A lot of excitement, intense pain were to follow that, but Mary stayed in the process because that's what mothers do. So what the Bible stories reveal to us, quite frankly, is that a mama bear love is fierce, isn't it? It's fierce and it's unforgiving. And sometimes it's wrong-headed. Sometimes we do right things for all the wrong reasons. And sometimes we do wrong things because we think everybody needs us. So we make those decisions for the people around us. So that's just part of what we do. But no matter what upbringing you had, no matter what relationship that you have with your mother, it's not important to us at this juncture. Because it's never too late to have a happy childhood, is it? Having a happy childhood is a choice. You get up every day and you decide, what am I going to focus on? How can I be more present? How can I stay connected to the things that I know are going to give me some element of return? And mostly, how can I just be in appreciation, to sit with what's happening and not judge it, but to recognize its purpose in my life? And sometimes its purpose in your life, whether it's your mother or anything else, is to remind you of what you don't want. And that is valuable, folks. That is one of the most powerful things you can know on this planet, is what you don't want. Thank you. Be in appreciation for that. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. You are a beloved child of the Omnipotent. And you are deeply, deeply loved. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Thank you. Can I make an announcement real quick about the workshop? Can I make an announcement about the workshop real quick? And just quickly before I jump off, I wanted to remind all of you, whether if you have children here that are old enough to read and write, we would love to have you join us back here in the sanctuary. We're going to start at 12 o'clock. Mariah and I have worked up a little agenda that we are going to do with you to kind of help you feel connected. It's just kind of a fun, lighthearted, interactive thing we'd love for you to stay for and just kind of start your Mother's Day off with a little bit of connection. So come and hang with us, okay? All right, thanks.
Let's take those thoughts now into some time of reflection and meditation. If you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to just close your outer eyes so that we can focus with our inner eyes. Remove anything from your lap that might encumber you. Just send some love, some heart love to Cyndi right now, and gratitude and appreciation for her wisdom, her thoughts, the love that she shared with us. Let's just send that back to her with our heart energy. Thank you, Cyndi, for who you are and what you brought to this talk. And let's send some heart love energy to our minister, Reverend Ogun, right now. Some heart love energy. That is the divine feminine, to Reverend Ogun for his spiritual leadership. He's ministering to the children today in the youth program. So let's send some heart love energy to our children. The children in this center. And then send the heart love energy to the children in your lives, no matter what age they may be. Your grown children, perhaps. Your grandchildren. The children that you see in your neighborhood, at the coffee shop. And then let's send some heart love energy to the mothers. The mother that birthed you into this existence. And then in many faith, spiritual traditions, there's a real appreciation for the ancestry that you are. So let's call to mind the ancestry of our mothers. Your mother's mother, and her mother, and her mother, and her mother. take a deep breath and release. The energy of mothering certainly is about love and care, but it's also about organizing and manifesting and producing. Enjoying all of the fruits of the feminine energy in your life, knowing that God has called you here this morning to be a part of this vibration and this vibratory pattern of love and connection. So I invite you now, as we take this meditation into the silence, to think about those in your lives where your heart connections have been made strong. Those people that support you, share your life with you, love you, call you higher, make you laugh, celebrate you, and those people that you also celebrate and love and support. Just call to mind now the people in your first circle of connections. See their face. And then send them love. Let's send them love. See their face and tell them I love you. I appreciate you. And now call to mind those people whose heart connections have weakened, perhaps through some difficulty in your relationship, some separation, some disconnect, some disagreement, some place where you're being right about something. Or perhaps you've separated just to protect your soul. Call those people to mind, where love has not been present. See their faces. And with all of the divine energy inside of you, also send your love. I love you. I see you. I appreciate the role that you've had in my life. I affirm our connection, our oneness and unity in spirit. As we go into this time of silence, I invite you to just continue to feel the loving energy emanate from your heart chakra. Feel the energy in this room. And see this loving energy going beyond this circle, beyond this center, touching the people all around New England, all around the United States, and in fact, all around the world. Take this thought now into a few moments of silence. And feeling this vibration, we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, that we're able to feel love, to know love, and in fact, to be love. As we receive the prayers of this prayer box, knowing that these prayers and thoughts have been brought forth with faith, with love. And it's with faith and with love that we receive them, knowing that all prayers are answered. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you for the faithful ones that have brought forth these celebrations and these cares and concerns. We affirm the highest good for each person and for each life. If you'd like to join me now, calling to mind those in your first circle, people that you love and that you want to bless in this energy of love and creation, let's just go ahead and say their names quietly together out loud. course, on this Mother's Day, we call to mind Reverend Ogun, who lost his wife a year and a half ago, and of course, his beautiful daughter, Joy. On this day, as we celebrate mothers and send our love to that family, knowing that Joy may have lost her biological mother, but that we, as spiritual family, stand firm together in mothering her and all of the children at Unity on the River.
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Please know that we have prayer chaplains available for you if you've come here today with anything on your heart, a care or a concern, or maybe a joy and a celebration that you just want to be with someone and celebrate in prayer. If the prayer chaplains would please stand and be recognized. These fine souls will be happy to meet with you and pray with you in total confidence. They are trained prayer chaplains and an integral part of our ministry, so please feel free to see one of them. And thank you, chaplains, for being here. We also have a home and hospital ministry here at Unity on the River. So if you you yourself have a concern that you can't be here at church and you want prayer ministry, or if you know of another congregant that we can call on who needs that support service, please know that we have that. So divine energy is the energy of circulation. I was just thinking about money, and I was thinking about money as being kind of the perfect blend of the masculine and feminine energy. And let's, with that thought, go ahead and say the blessing of our tithes and offerings together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I'd like to offer our offertory song today to the Divine Mother, Mary. This is the Ave Maria. And Ave Maria translates into Hail Mary, full of grace, Mater Dei, Dominus tecum, Mother of God, God is with you.
What's that? She told me she did a rendition of it. Amazing. She's amazing.
Holy wow. Crazy how much talent we have in this church. Oh, let's open our hearts and receive the blessing of these gifts, these tithes, these offerings. We say thank you, God. We receive these with a joyful heart, knowing that this money will turn to God energy, going out, continuing the good of this church, the good of this ministry, to do the will and the work of Holy Spirit. We say thank you, God. Thank you, Therese. Thank you, Bob. Maura, thank you. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Wow. And who are these guys on the strings over here?
We have Mike Ruin on the bass.
Hi, Mike. Welcome to Unity on the River. And who's that guy over there?
I'm sending out a high five to Keith Bickford, who couldn't make it today, but high five to Keithy and Brian.
Go, Brian. Thank you. All right, continuing on with that gratitude, we want to also thank some of our teams. We had some angels that stepped up this week doing more for us at Unity on the River. We say thank you to the men's group for helping in hospitality. Love that. Gosh, I love that. The men's group helping in hospitality. Let's do that every week. Lucy, Jane, Paul, Gina, Nancy, and those who brought food for the Eastern Region Board reception this week. That was a nice event that we had. And we want to recognize 3 teams this week. We have the folding team that puts together your bulletins for you, the altar team that makes this beautiful creation here that I just loved this morning, and also we want to say thank you to the team that is our choir. We're going to thank the board of
Laurie, Barry, Wayne, Holly, and Brad. It's his birthday.
We also want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees. If anyone is here from the board, if you would please stand. We want to thank you for your service and say hello. We also want to say thank you for those who make the Wednesday night spiritual celebration happen on Wednesday nights for all of the people participating. And this week, the Wednesday night service is our own prayer and healing service with Reverend Ogan Holder. All right, there we go. A little more music with Meg.
Yeah,
And
it's time to
thank you.
shine on, shine.
Meg is a lot of the music on Wednesday, too.
Oh, thank
Forever great testing.
Meg also wrote every song that she has sang today, and I always like to acknowledge that. And Maura wrote yours.
Here we go. We're going to shine. You may want to stand.
Okay.
that frightens us. Who are we meant to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. We're meant to fly free and shine like the sun. We're all gonna shine like the sun. Let your love be a wonder to the world who got nothing to hide. Radiating the glory of your love. Turn yourself on. Turn yourself on.
Wow. I love this church. Right? Isn't it amazing? We're just awesome. All right, I believe we're going to welcome in our youth and family ministry.
We are one.
We all stand in the presence. So over the last month or so, we've been experimenting with a slightly different format where every day we'll do, or every Sunday we'll do some active play, and we'll do a lesson, and we'll do some art play. And today for Mother's Day, the way we focused on it was to talk a little bit about gratitude versus appreciation versus acknowledgement. So I'll invite you all to sort of think about how that all fits together. Kids were delightful. We had Reverend Ogan joining us today. He did great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Channeled my inner Lego builder a little bit today, which is always awesome. Before we say our peace song, announcement to make. As you know, this is spiritual community, and folks are always stepping in and out of roles. I want to share with you some recent changes that happened over the last couple of weeks. First, I want to acknowledge folks who have stepped into roles here. You may not know this, but Frank Barron, is Frank in here or is Frank out there? Frank's around somewhere. Thought he's not there. Anyway, Frank Barron stepped in to holding the role of Sacred Service Coordinator. Which I think is awesome. Frank's been a long-time member of this community. A few weeks ago, we said farewell to Michael Mooney because he was moving to Maryland. Apparently, he changed his mind. So Michael hasn't gone anywhere. He's probably out in hospitality, and I will be asking for the plant back. No, I'm just kidding. No, he can I'm kidding. He can keep the plant. He can keep the plant. But some folks that are moving on, our office administrator / communications director, Cyndi, who we've all grown to love, is moving on to a full-time position with a Granite Recovery. It's a recovery program, so she's moving on to the next evolution of who she is. And we've also had 2 board members that are clear this is their time to step away, Linda Leland and also our president, Elaine Gaffney, are deciding to step away at this point in time. So, as always, flow and in and out. I do want to remind you that we have our community meeting, which you probably heard about, coming up on the 4th. And in your bulletins are still some Ask the Board papers. If there's any questions you have for us as board members to address, you can write those and turn them in. You have to do it today because we have a board meeting this Thursday, so we're going to take a look at those questions. So we always want to hear from you. So community meeting, June 4th, like right after service, okay? Let us stand together now. Take the hand of your neighbor, affirm the truth for ourselves, for this community, for the entire world, because we know it begins with, what's that? Can I say something? Oh, that's right. Oh, I almost forgot. Keep standing. Briefly, I almost forgot. We have to say a special fond farewell to this gentleman who is also relocated to be near family in Arizona. Did I get that right? Arizona. Prescott, Arizona. Jay Euler has been a member of this community for a long while, and if you haven't really gotten to know this charming young man who always has a smile and something good to say to us, plus it's not very often I walk into spiritual communities and find people who are more educated, deeply educated. He's been educated in so many deep religious fields longer than I've been alive, honestly. I've had him in classes, and I say to him, "What are you doing here? You should be teaching me some stuff." So it's been a pleasure to know you, Jay. He works harder than I am still, and I am so glad that he's taken the time to go be with his I know that your kids will be there, but I know you're really going for the grandkids, right? Yes.
Irene Tompkinson, when I was down at Edwin Gaines' Prosperity Advanced Teacher Training Program, we were invited to speak, and I spoke about my grandchildren, and she came up to me afterwards. She put her arm on my shoulder, and she said, "What are you doing here? You need to be with your grandchildren." I instantly decided I was moving to Arizona. And then, when I told Ogun, he said, "Wow, that went straight through my head to my heart." So everybody's been enthused with me. My smile has been radiant. And I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have loved you and you are mine. You have loved me with an everlasting love. You have loved me and you are mine.
We're going to miss you.
My hands are wet from tears now. I know.
Peace sound
Sharing
time.
Saliva. Oh, wait, that comes out of your mouth. I gotta go this way. It's coming. Coming right
watches over us.
We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed.
Well, have a great week, and happy Mother's Day.
Writing it down. Do it right now. Good to see you. How are you? Hello. Happy Mother's Day to you. I am a mom. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Hello, honey. To you. Do you have kids? Yes. You do? Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, people. Thank you, Bob. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. Thank you for coming. Hello. Good to see you again. Thank you for coming back. Sweater's so cute. How are you? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How are you? Good. Thank you, honey. Good to see you. You smell good too. I smell good. Hello. Look at you. Look like a movie star. Little glasses on. Mother's Day to you. Say hello, Lucy. coming. That's right. Excellent. How are you? Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Oh, hello. How are you again? Thank you. Thank you guys for coming out. I love seeing your little faces when I get out there. How are you, Monica? Good to see you. You too. You look great.
So, but that would be $400 out of a $2,000 solution. What?